Hello everyone, I'm Professor Arvedi. Welcome to your next data structures lecture. In this, we will be doing fifth topic of your second module, that is two stacks using a single array. Now we've already seen implementation of stack using array. So you have a complete idea about how we have written the ADT and how we have implemented it. So this particular concept we would be discussing from the implementation point of view, and that too in a very rough manner. So the task of writing a proper sophisticated ADT and then implementing it using the array implementation is obviously kept for you people. Now, if you look at the diagram, you will understand what exactly is expected. So I've got an array of max. Okay, so if you look at the structure, okay, which is not being mentioned on the screen. So if you try to visualize the structure, you will have one single array, okay, of some size max. Currently for this example, max is 7, and you would be having two top of stacks. So you will have toss1 as well as toss2. This is how your structure looks like. So whenever I'll be making one variable of this structure, I'll be getting a single array, but I'm capable of implementing two stacks into that array. And that's the reason, okay, you can see your toss1, as I said, I'm talking about implementation. So it's going to start from 0. So initially it is at -1. You know, if the array is of size 7, the effective part I can use is 0 to 6. So if you see, 0 to 6 is what I can use. So my toss2 will be at 7, which is obviously I can say which is at max. So if you just see the way it is going to work, when I'll do push1, toss1 will be incremented and I'll do the insertion of the element. When I do push2, toss2 will be decremented and then I'll do the insertion of the element. On the other hand, if I do pop1, obviously the element at toss1, the current element, will be popped and toss1 would be decremented. Whereas in case of pop2, if at all I do pop2, then the element at toss2 would be deleted or popped and toss2 would be incremented. So it is obviously the opposite of the push that you people do. So let us have a look at the rough idea about the functions. I already told you, I've neither given you ADT, I have not given you the implementation. I'm giving you the idea because you already have an experience of one full-fledged program with you. So taking the idea from this, you're supposed to write a proper ADT by yourself and then convert it into a full-fledged program. Okay. So first, push1. As I said, if I put before I start with push functions, first we need to understand when do I say the stack is full or what is stack overflow. Now, if you just keep on inserting, let's say using push1, isn't it the last insert I can do is at 6? So my toss2 obviously will remain at the same place, but see the condition for overflow. Toss1 plus 1 will be toss2. Same holds true for the other condition where toss1 stays at -1. If I keep on doing push2, the last push2 I can do is at 0. -1 plus 1 is 0. If let's say by pushing my toss1 comes up to 3, I can only do push2 till 4. Again, 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. So the condition for overflow from any side, let that be a first stack for push1 or for the second stack push2, the condition for overflow is same. Toss1 plus 1 is equal to toss2. So look at the function push1. If toss1 plus 1 is equal to toss2, then we say stack1 overflow. Otherwise, toss1 is incremented by 1 and s of toss1 will be ELE. Okay. Similarly, push2, same condition for stack2 overflow also. Otherwise, toss2 will be decremented and s of toss2 will be ELE. So in a very simple manner, you can understand push1 and push2. Is empty. Now is empty will be different for both the stacks. If I say is empty 1, I would say stack 1 is empty when my toss1 is at the initial condition, that is -1. So if toss1 is -1, then I would return true, else return false. Whereas for function is empty 2, if my toss2 is equal to max, currently I would say the second stack, that is the one which is pointed by toss2 is empty. So toss2 is equal to max, then return true, else return false. So this is push1, push2, is empty 1, is empty 2. Okay. Let us go ahead with pop functions now. So pop1, pop2. As I said, they are going to be opposite to the corresponding push. So push 1 increments toss 1, pop 1 will decrement it. Then your push 2 decrements toss 2, so your pop 2 is going to increment it. Let us have a look. Function pop1 s comma ele returns integer. If isEmpty1 is called for pop1, if it is true, then we would say stack 1 underflow. Okay, and again we can return -1 and all, which has to be done when you do implementation. Here just keeping it short, I have not done it, I just gave you the idea. So if the stack 1 is underflowing, return type is integer, return -1 must be there. Else z is equal to s of toss1. So we'll take the element at toss1 in temporary variable z, decrement toss1 and return z. So very similar, you can understand pop2. Again you call isEmpty2 for pop2. If it is true, you say stack 2 underflow. Again there will be return -1 because return type is integer. Else I take the element at toss2, so z equal to s of toss2. Toss2 is incremented by 1, toss2 equal to toss2 plus 1, return z. And that will complete your pop2. Now display. Again, I have two stacks in a single array. Okay. So if I want to display the first stack, again, checking isEmpty and all will be there. So have a complete idea how the first program was done, and accordingly you should do the detailings here. I had just given you a brief. So the main part is, how do I display? See, from 0 I'm going to start, I'm going to come up to a particular level which is pointed by toss1. So if I want to display the same style, the way they're going to get popped, then I'll start from toss1 and I'll go opposite way up to 0. So for I equals toss1 down to 0, if I print s of I, then I'll get the first stack printed. On the other hand, for display 2, okay, I am going to come opposite rather while pushing. So maybe toss2 starts from max -1, it goes down to some level which is pointed by toss2. So if I again want the element to be displayed in the order they're going to get pop, for second display, I'll start my I from toss2 and it will be displaying up to max -1. So for I equals toss2 to max -1, print s of I. Again, for the same reason of cutting it short, I have not shown you stack top 1 and stack top 2, but very easily one can very well try for it because you already have pop 1, pop 2 with you. Or just to give you quickly, stack top 1 will return s of toss1, obviously if the stack is not empty, whereas stack top 2 will return s of toss2, obviously when stack 2 is not empty. So again, two more functions can be added from your side, that is stack top 1 and stack top 2. So this is the overall idea about how can we implement two stacks using a single array. Fine. So with the help of the previous program that you've already done, I expect rather you to do ADT of this particular concept as well as the implementation. Fine. So in the next lecture, we would be starting with the applications of stack from the theoretical point of view, and then we will also try to implement some of the applications. Fine. So that's it for this lecture. Thank you.